ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामय सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखात् भाग् भवेत्। We pray for the happiness and peace of one and all. May everyone be comfortable and happy at all levels of the personality, material, physical, emotional, intellectual. Spiritually, may we see that which is divine and auspicious. May there be no suffering anywhere. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Does anybody have any question?
Hariom sir.
Hari Om, Hari Om. The 21st verse, which we were doing, very, very important guideline about leadership, also applicable to parenting. Whatever the leader does, whatever the superior person does, that standard he sets and others follow it. So this was the third emotional appeal. So in the previous topic, for almost 15 verses, verses 4 to 19, Sri Krishna gave the intellectual appeals for action, the reason and logic why one should act. Obviously, Arjuna did not react. So this is a very important principle for us to remember when we have to convince anybody, show them, tell them to do something. First of all, we should be clear that what we are saying is right. But when we have to convince everybody, we should apply this dual mode. If you are clear this person is intellectual, you talk the intellectual language, you talk the language of reason, logic, then the person will understand. If the person is emotional, there is no point talking about logic and reason. To an emotional person, you have to approach it from the emotional point of view, give emotion. And that's what he is doing now. From verses 20 to 24, 6 emotional appeals are given out. So we have to understand that. Where we are not sure, we give both. Like the Bhagavad Gita itself, it appeals to intellectuals, it appeals to emotional people. For example, the concept of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. For the devotional people, they are gods. There is a Lord Shiva who is destroying the world. There is a Lord Brahma who is creating the world. There is a Lord Vishnu who is maintaining the world. But for intellectual, there is no such God. It is world is nothing but an expression of creation, destruction. In the process of creation and destruction, maintenance happens. So this is just one example. Throughout the Gita, it appeals to the intellectuals at the level of reason and logic. It appeals to the emotional at the level of the heart, emotions. But to have this conversation, whether you're going to speak emotions or whether you're going to use knowledge, what is important is the rapport. If we spoil the rapport by being selfish, by being egocentric, and by constantly telling others what to do. If the rapport is there, the friendliness is there, where the other person is willing to listen to you, then you can give knowledge or reason, intellectual appeal or emotional appeal. If the rapport is not there, it's like throwing a ball to a wall, it will bounce back. And that important message is going to come in next 2-3 verses. Krishna says, do not unsettle the minds of those who are attached to their own way of living. Leave them alone and lead the way. So even in this verse 21, he says, set the standard. So now some of us may feel, oh, I am not a leader, so this doesn't apply to me. No, it's not like that. Everyone is a leader in your own way. You don't know who you are influencing. by your positive behavior, by your positive actions, you may be influencing others. But the point is not about influencing others. The point is about raising ourselves to perfection. Be what we say, be the best version of yourself. All of us have a role to play. Some role we are playing, either we are the parent or the child, brother or sister, mother or father. At any given point of time, boss in the office or a worker, teacher or student, at any given point of time, we are playing a role. Life circumstances has ensured that we have a particular role to play. Now, if we want to evolve spiritually, or if you want to become a better human being, play that role to the best of your ability. I was having a conversation with a person, and she is saying his wife is interested in self-realization. So her condition is 6 hours he should not talk to her. No, that's not the way to. That's not the way. Your parents should not come to our house. It disturbs my spiritual sadhana. The spiritual growth. I mean, I don't know that lady. I have absolutely no data, but it sounds only that you are not allowing your husband's parents to come to the house because you want to realize the self. It's so jarring. If you have a role to play, you have to be the best daughter-in-law. If you have the role to play, you have to be the best wife. I'm not saying get involved and attack. That's different. But playing your role unselfishly, selflessly, and dedicating it to the higher. See the divinity in your near and dear ones. See, it's very, very easy to be unselfish to strangers because they are not irritating you. But we get irritated by our family members or people who are associating because of our own weakness. We personalize things, we are egoistic, we are selfish, therefore their behavior irritates us. Now, if you want to evolve spiritually, if you want to sort of expand the mind, purify the mind, where we can understand the ultimate truth of who we really are, then we have to be unselfish and kind to these people who we find irritating. They are expressing their nature. Everybody is helplessly expressing their nature. Leave them alone. By playing our role properly, by doing our dharma, we will evolve. So, what is this leading the way? You be as unselfish as possible. You be as dynamic as possible. You be as kind and cheerful as possible. Again, it will come. I'll repeat these points in few verses. So, each one is a leader in yourself. Lead the way. Live a good life. So, here, Sri Krishna is um, tickling the vanity of Arjuna. He's telling Arjuna, you are a leader. Everybody is looking up to you. If you don't do your duty and you run away from the battlefield, what example are you setting? So Arjuna kind of falls for that. Oh, yes, I am a leader. So where we have to, like, in a good way, I'm not putting it in a negative way, where we have to influence or convince anybody to do a particular thing. You have a job to do and you want somebody to do it. Almost 100%, 1% or a little bit exception, 99.9% of people fall for flattery. You just praise them. Genuinely speak the language of confidence, language of hope, language of encouragement. You give some positive, um, what you call positive vibe to the other person. You are a leader. He's encouraging him and saying, he's boosting his confidence and saying, you are a leader. He's flattering him also in a way. You're a leader. Everybody's looking up to you. Whatever standard you set, everybody will follow. How can a leader run away? If the king runs away, all the soldiers will run away. If the CEO runs away, all the workers will give away. Whereas if the captain, whoever it is, he stands up and does the right thing, others will be inspired to do it. So each one of us are a leader. We have to set the standard. That is our duty and obligation. The previous two appeals, the last class we covered, we gave the example of Janaka. So first appeal is you take the names of people who the other person admires or respects and say, Janaka did this, why can't you do it? Janaka did his duty, why can't you do it? That was the first appeal, devotional appeal. You look up to somebody, you give the example. Second was just persuasion. Okay, you don't want to fight the war, but why don't you fight the war for the welfare of others? Just encourage. Why don't you fight? Please. It's a persuasion. Why don't you do it? Please do it. Third is this tickling the vanity. You are a leader, everybody is looking up to you, you better do your role properly. I mean, set a right standard. Then he goes on to 22. We'll chant it once. Sorry.
न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यम् त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यम् वर्त एव च कर्मणि.
O Partha, O Arjuna, there is nothing in the three worlds that has to be done by me, or anything unattained that has to be attained. Yet I engage in action. So indirectly, very interesting verse. Indirectly, Sri Krishna is telling he is in a different realm altogether. He is not an ordinary human being. He is self-realized. Because only a self-realized, this applies only to a self-realized person. When I say self-realized person, he is reveling in a bliss which is absolutely, we say, all full. Paripurna. Paripurna means all full, complete. There is no void. There is no lacuna. He is reveling in the infinite bliss of his own self. No matter how much life brings us, there is always this feeling, what next? Or kya? There is no such thing as absolute fulfillment in life. There is relative fulfillment, yes. So as we are experiencing the relative fulfillment, we must get inspired to find that absolute fulfillment within oneself, because everything else is ephemeral. It is for the time being, it's temporary. Don't waste all your time, effort, energy in pursuing something temporary, because go to the end of it. It will come to an end. Then what? While we are experiencing temporary, we must seek this permanent happiness within. Then we can speak this language. There is nothing else to be done. I am absolutely fulfilled. Now Krishna, reveling in that divine bliss, supreme bliss, Param Anand, Param Sukham within himself, he says, in the three worlds. So three worlds can be, some people can take it as earth, hell and heaven. We have heard time and again, hell and heaven are not geographical places. Wherever you are, if you are in comfort and peace, that is heaven. Wherever you are, if you are agitated and suffering, that is hell. So hell and heaven are more mental states. I mean, it can be outside circumstances also. Outside there is a lot of comfort and peace coming. We can say I am in heaven. But to experience that heaven, your mind must be available. So many times it happens. Outside everything is perfect, but inside we are so disturbed. And the other way also can happen. For whatever reason, there is pain and suffering coming. But this person has so much of inner strength. He has progressed spiritually that he is able to take the pain gracefully and be cheerful from within. He laughs it off, as it were. That's a beautiful term, laugh it off. I remember one of the Q&A, online Q&A, somewhere in 2021-22. It was an online retreat, and a German guy asked Swamiji some question, some problematic question he asked. Swamiji answered, and from his face only Swamiji could see this fellow is not getting the message. He says, just laugh it off. Just laugh it off. Now, just laugh it off can be mechanical also, or just laugh it off can be, all okay, no? Okay. Yeah, please, no worries. Just laugh it off can be mechanical also. Or just laugh it off can be backed with this conviction that there is something in me which is very divine, which is very infinite. That is my true identity. Knowing what is my true identity, just laugh it off. Nothing really matters. Just laugh it off. So outside can be chaotic, inside you're peaceful. Outside can be comfortable, you can be disturbed. So your mind is its own place. It can make a hell out of heaven, heaven out of hell. So heaven and hell are not geographical places, but you can take it also like that. In the sense, everything is beautiful, you can say this is so heavenly. But what is more important is what's happening here. Heaven and hell is in the mind. And the other technical way of understanding the three worlds is waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. The world of nothingness and blankness, that's deep sleep. The imaginary world that we project in sleep, the dream world. And now we believe we are in the waking world. We believe we are in the waking world because if I am dreaming, I won't know. But anyway, this is the waking world. There is a dream world. There is a deep sleep world. So, anyway, in deep sleep, you don't have to do anything except sleeping. Krishna is saying in the three worlds, nowhere. Three worlds means everywhere. There is nothing that I need to do. It's already done. I've already realized the self. Only person who doesn't need to do anything who has realized the self. Please don't. I mean, if you have realized the self, there is no class, there is nothing. You should be taking the class. You don't even have to take the class. People will come and take the knowledge from you. If you have traces of tamas, laziness, if you have traces of rajas, greed, anxiety, selfishness, if you have desires, I'm not talking about wrong type of desires, good desires. I need a car, I need a house, I need a money, I need to take care of my family. If you have good desires, I need to see the world, whatever. I'm not giving a list. You know what your desires are. If you have desires, if you tend to get affected by whatever is happening in life, the ups and downs of life affects you, keep doing something. Then you cannot take, if these are conditions are there. If you have tamas, if you have rajas, if you have good desires, if you have obligations. So there is desires, we say we put obligations. If you have obligations, if you tend to get agitated or affected by the happenings of the world, these are clear indication. You cannot say this statement that I've got nothing to do. You better get on to karma through action, overcome all this. Get rid of your rajas, get rid of your tamas, exhaust your desires by the right type of action, which is karma yoga. Exhaust your desires. If you are in a state where nothing affects you, there is no desire, whatever happens, you are not affected at all. Be true to yourself. Then alone you can say this statement. And if you are attuned to the self, there is nothing that I have not done, and there is nothing that is unattained. And these great men are acting much more than us. Even at 99, Swamiji is still acting. Even in the ICU, he gave a 1 minute video to a person from Calcutta who's very close to us. He's opening a hospital in December. He gave a 1 minute video. I'm saying, I mean, I don't know how many people at ICU will want to say something. And first of all, we would not want to disturb them. So I have seen only Swamiji in his 80s. The amount of work he has done, it's phenomenal. Every morning to write from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. How many books he's written in the 80s? Fall of the Human Intellect in his 80s. Governing Business and Relationships in the 80s. Holocaust of Attachment in the 80s. Not to talk about not to talk about the lectures in the academy, traveling around the world. If you travel to any country, some of you already must have, for 3-4 times you'll get fed up. Can you conceive just 50 times going to USA, 50 times to UK, 50 times to South Africa, I don't know how many, 50 times to Australia, and not for sightseeing. He says, where am I? Because he only knows his study table and the lecture hall. So he doesn't want anything, but he is engaging in constant activity. Just to giving an example. Similarly, these men reduce themselves to dust, trying to help others. They are experiencing a bliss within themselves. Out of their compassion, they want us to experience it. So they go all out and work. So Krishna is like that. He doesn't need to participate in this war. He can chill wherever he is, but he is acting. Yet I engage in action. So this is if you read the commentary, it's like you tell somebody, hey, do you want coffee? No, I don't want coffee. Have no, I don't want. Arey, I am having. Oh, okay, you're having, then I'll have. It's like that, Krishna is saying, I don't need to do anything, but I am also doing something. No, why don't you join me and do it? If it's a truly intellectual person, you have coffee, I don't want. But Arjuna is not able to apply himself. He says, okay, that's an emotional appeal. So devotion, give example of somebody who the other person admires. Just persuasion. Please fight, yeah. Come on. For the welfare of the world, please fight. Third, you are a leader. Whatever you do, that is the standard you're setting for all those people who are looking up to you. So tickling the vanity. Fourth, personal appeal. I am acting. Why don't you join me and act? He may. I'm just repeating how Swamiji used to explain. Okay, Arjuna should have said, "You are acting, it's your problem. Don't tell me to act." But he doesn't say something. He listens. So 25, 23.
यदि ह्यहं न वर्तेयम् जातु कर्मण्य
So this is fear. If indeed I do not ever engage in action, unwearied men would in every way follow my path, O Partha. So in a way, he's also like a person who's looked up to. He's putting a fear that if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, people everywhere will start following me and not do what they are supposed to do. Then there'll be chaos. He's putting a sense of fear in it. So most people are emotional. Very few people understand the reason and understand reason and logic. We have to give reason and logic, but ultimately, what matters, what like the language people understand is the language of emotion. So we have to be very. We have to. So this is something which is very very applicable in day to day life. Giving examples of superiors, persuasion, personal appeal, tickling the vanity. Are you are so great? How can you not do it? You should be able to do it. And in a genuine way. I'm not saying manipulate, but the understanding helps you to practice it. So here is putting the fear, saying if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, nobody will do it. See, the whole world is functioning because of the contribution of everybody. We should be very, very clear. No one person can do anything. It's every person has a role to play. Everybody is playing their role beautifully. Therefore, we are functioning. How is the water coming to our taps from the river? How is the electricity coming? How is the food coming? Uh, I was stunned and shocked when I read 1,500 farmers have committed suicide only in Maharashtra over last 2 years. And when I was saying saying this, somebody said there are many others who don't have the courage. So they don't. I really don't know what the problem is. But food comes to our plate. So farmers are doing their job, plumbers are doing their job, carpenters are doing their job, doctors are doing their job. Everybody has a role to play. It's like the world is full of assorted talents. Now any group of people stop functioning, the whole world will collapse. So it's putting a sense of fear. You are a leader, you are a soldier, your duty is to protect the country, and if you back out and everybody does that, whole thing will collapse. So fear, whatever you are trying to convince the other person, may show him that if he doesn't do it, what will happen. Fear is not to be used in the beginning. See, very, very carefully. He tries all the good things first. Persuasion, personal appeal. Hey, see, Roger Federer is doing that. Why can't you play tennis like that? All the good things. Then he says, fear. If you don't do your action, you lose your job. And then what will happen to your family? You put some fear. And then finally, threat. He doesn't talk about punishment here, but sometimes punishment also. Slapping the child or whatever. Punishment should not be the first way. It should be the last way. And also depending on the relationship. If you have the authority, you can't punish equals or superior. Obviously not. You can punish where you have a duty to punish, but not in the beginning. Reason, logic. Just 1 second. Now. All good. Namaskar. Yeah, all fine. All set. Thank you. Reason, logic, devotion, persuasion, vanity, personal appeal, finally fear, and then the next verse he talks about a threat. If you don't do this, so a little stronger version of fear. We'll chant it.
उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोकाः न कुर्याम् कर्म चेदहम् सङ्करस्य च कर्ता स्याम् उपहन्यामि माः प्रजाः.
These worlds would perish. This is very stronger. These worlds would perish if I do not perform action. I should be the cause of confusion of caste and should destroy this people. If you remember the first chapter, when Arjuna was sort of blabbering, talking nonsense out of his emotional condition and saying we should not fight, and if there is fight and families are killed and there will be all sorts of things happening, he says if we fight, there will be confusion of castes. Now slowly, entire chapter 2 is gone. Almost half of chapter 3 has come. Krishna is slowly saying, if you don't fight, then there will be confusion of castes. If I stop acting, the world will perish. So this is the right, Krishna is talking logically and he's presenting the truths as it were. If we don't do what we are supposed to do, then there will be confusion of caste and destroy the people. The whole world will come to a standstill. So this is a threat. So Arjuna really wakes up. We conclude that Arjuna has woken up because from verse 25 to 35, it is one of the most practical messages of how do you perform, how do you act perfectly. Verse 30, 31. It's phenomenal how we say it gives the blueprint of perfect action. What is perfection in action? So from 25, Krishna changes gears. No more emotional language. No more he's saying why we should work. He's saying what is perfection in action. So the fact that he starts saying it, that means Arjuna, he can see Arjuna has become more receptive. That's why we need offline classes where we can see. When we see, automatically we say what needs to be said. Doesn't matter. So Arjuna has reacted to the emotional appeal. Now this caste system, there is a tremendous misunderstanding about caste system. They feel generally people believe caste system is based on the birthright. It is not based on the birthright. Caste system is actually universal. It is everywhere. In India, it was spelt out clearly. Caste system is based on the mental temperaments, and caste system was not rigid. Anybody can do anything. It's an experiment which has completely failed, but it is given to bring some system in the society. Whatever is your mental temperament, you take up a job accordingly. So it was a very, very intelligent, beautiful division of labor. It was based on the caste system. So it was based on the gunas, the 3 gunas. I'll just open a slide to show you the gunas. Whenever we speak about the gunas, we say it's a complete topic in itself. In the sense, you understand the 3 gunas. Even if you don't understand, even if you don't know of any other concept, the understanding of the 3 gunas itself is enough to take us right up to enlightenment. Just as cloth has a texture, the mental textures are sattva, rajas, and tamas. Tamas is the lowest, rajas is the highest, rajas is the middle, and sattva is the purest and the highest. All human beings have all 3. The most sattvic person has tamas and rajas. The most tamasic person also will have sattva. Every human being has all 3. Sattva plus rajas plus tamas equals 100. Sattva plus rajas plus tamas equals 100. Why are we all different? The different proportions of the 3 gunas accounts for the heterogeneous variety of beings. Somebody is at 95, 5. Somebody is at 20, 40, 40. Somebody is 35, 35, 30. The different combinations of sattva, rajas, tamas accounts for the heterogeneous variety of beings. The mission of life is wherever there is tamas, inaction, indifference, ignorance, you're careless, you're heedless, you're reckless, you're doing something without thinking, without knowledge, you're doing something or not doing anything. Body, mind, intellect, nothing is functioning. That is tamas. Rajas is the higher level where There is a person is very, very active, rushing, hurrying, worrying all the time, but mind is very stressed out, disturbed. So body and mind is functioning and full of selfishness, full of ego, all the negative emotions. The moment you have greed, jealousy, anger, hatred, ill will, any form of negative emotions, this it springs from the bottom line of otherness. Otherness is ignorance. It that we forget we are all one. When you don't have knowledge of oneness, there is otherness. From this base of otherness springs all the negative emotions. All these negative emotions come fall under rajas. So activity where it's like running a marathon at 100-meter speed. He runs, he stops, he runs, he stops. A frenzied activity, but mind is very, very disturbed. Rajasic people is what we get. They get into burnout. It's too much. So Rajas, Ravana was Rajasic. Kumbhakarna was Tamasic because 6 months he used to sleep. And then there is the quality of Sattva. So Rajas, rushing, hurrying, worrying all the time, stress, selfishness, ego, all the negative emotions, kama, krodha, lobha, etc. Sattva is the state of mind we should all aspire for. It comes through knowledge of Vedanta and waking up early hours in the morning. Because early hours in the morning, Brahma Muhurta, 2 hours before sunrise, or as close to it as possible. I'm compromising. 2 hours before sunrise is Sattvic time. Best time to study, reflect, think. Waking up early in the morning, applying the intellect, and gaining knowledge of Vedanta. These are the 3 ways to increase Sattva. Apply your intellect, because in Rajas there is only body and mind. When you will mind-led, you become Rajasic. But the moment you apply your intellect and guide the mind, you are becoming Sattvic. When you have higher values of life, something connected to the self, when you're trying to evolve spiritually, trying to become better, you are promoting your Sattva. And naturally, by waking up early, you are increasing your Sattvic nature expresses itself in the early hours of morning. So Sattva is a state of mind which is calm, very pure, very serene, composed, mature, objective, detached, but the body is in dynamic action. In Rajas, the body is not active, mind is running over all of the place. Whereas in Sattva, the body is in dynamic action, mind is at rest, mind is absolutely still, calm, cool. Intellect is alert. You're doing what needs to be done with a very calm mind. Anxiety, worry, all this is Rajasic. Because the intellect, you're not able to apply the intellect. Apply the intellect, have the right values. Right values will not happen automatically. Right values will come with reflection and contemplation upon the scriptures over a period of time. Then you understand, okay, this is not important, but I should do it. Like Krishna is saying, there's nothing that I need to do, but yet I do it. So there is a role to play your role properly. So calm, composed, mature, serene, pure, body is in dynamic action. Such people have a beautiful, Sattvic people have a beautiful quality of surrender. Tamasic person, no effort, no surrender, no nothing. Rajasic people have the ego, I can take care of myself. What can we take care of myself? As I said, I'm actually talking in a public place. Suddenly 10 guests come, I don't know what to do with the class. Earthquake could happen, could happen, Zoom connection go, electricity can go. Any situation, or this is wisdom, any situation 99.99% is not in our control. What is in your control is what you are thinking, how you are applying yourself, what you are doing. So the Sattvic person does everything to the best of his ability, puts his heart and soul into it. There is no compromise in effort. And then he surrenders to that divine will. Sattva is always connected with the self. He is very loving, very caring, he does very, very carefully. He is full of knowledge. He has spiritual knowledge. Anything to do with spirituality is Sattva. When we go deeper into the subject of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Bhagavad Gita is all about Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Somebody was saying over 100 verses is about Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So particularly 14 chapter, 17 chapter, 18 chapter, even in third chapter. So now that I've covered so much, the mission of life is to rise from tamas and get into activity. Activity is rajas. Then control the activity to get into sattva. You cannot bypass rajas. cannot bypass rajas, but don't get stuck in rajas. Tamas is inaction, laziness. Jayam, just put the chart and then you can, give you a chance to ask question. Lethargic, indifference, reckless, careless, no effort, ignorant. This is the tamas in us. And we all have it. We procrastinate things. Karenge, dekhenge. Sometimes we are unpunctual. Sometimes we are dirty. We don't just apply ourselves. That's tamas. Higher than tamas is rajas. Frenzied activity. Mind is stressed out, rushing, hurrying, worrying all the time. Too many desires. Little bit of desires, good desires under control is sattva. But when there's too many desires, you have to do this, have to do this, have to do this. The list of things to do is endless. You take up beyond your capacity. Then you are getting into rajas. Lust, greed, anger, ego. These are all expressions of rajas. Selfishness, attached, clinging, possessive. Knowledge, we say intelligence is rajasic. Worldly knowledge is rajasic, but it's not complete knowledge. Even worldly knowledge perfectly gained is sattva. Spiritual knowledge is sattva. Sattvic mind is calm, composed, serene, pure, mature, objective, detached, contemplative, dynamic. A self-realized person, if he's functioning, he's full of sattva. We used to say sometimes Swamiji will punch the air, but it will be like, imagine Nadal punching the air. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying he's not sattvic. He also has a lot of sattva, but there's a lot of effort. It's rajas. Whereas when it's effortless, graceful, there is sattvic. Mind is speedful. So Federer is sattvic. Love, surrender, wisdom, caring, careful, effortless. This is sattva. So if you are 100% sattva, enlightenment. So this one chart is enough. Don't fall into tamas. Control the rajas and slowly make it sattva. Wake up early in the morning. Apply the intellect during the day. Keep gaining higher values of life. Then I'll explain why I covered this. Caste system is based on the gunas. Yes, Jaya, you had something to say. Ask. Yes, please.
So you spoke about a sattvic person and the various qualities of sattvic person, and he has that rajas where he is doing his duty. Where would be the tamas in a sattvic person? Because all the three are always together.
No, not all. No, it's not like that. Even when a sattvic person is doing duty, you can't term it rajas. I can be doing duty and I expect my family to appreciate that I am doing so much. That is rajas. I do my duty and I have no expectation. Whatever comes unasked, I'm happy with that. Or minimum expectation. Then that is sattvic. Just because you're doing duty doesn't mean it's rajasic. If you're not doing the duty, that is tamas. So it springs in the sense, so there will be some areas where will be tamasic. You have to do a medical test, you're postponing it. You have to do a bank work, you're postponing it. One part of the cupboard has to be clean, you're delaying it. Or sometimes you're late, sometimes you're lazy. No, not every morning is the same. No, sometimes we just sleep and not exercise. Now, if you're mad about exercise and like crazy about exercise, that will say rajas. But if you are, this needs to be done today, I have to do this, and you apply yourself, do it. And so, different times of the day, the sattva comes up. Different times of the day, the tamas comes up. Different times in the same person. Doesn't happen together. So it's separate. Generally, tamas is after sundown. Rajas is sunrise to sunset. And early morning is good for planning, studying, reflection. All thinking, problem solving, all the study related activities should be done early hours in the morning. Many people get up in the 5 o'clock, go for a run. You say, not the best use of time. Use your time better by studying, thinking, problem solving, all these kind of activities early in the morning. Your execution of your plans, sunrise to sunset. And tamas has to be avoided. So sleep early to bed. Early to rise makes a human being healthy, wealthy, and wise. So, in sometimes even a predominantly sattvic person, he may in somewhere he will be maybe late, maybe not paying attention to something he needs to pay attention to. Maybe he needs to call a relative, which is important. He's forgetting to call something like that. So, when you study the chart carefully, it is not to judge others, but it helps in assessing others. A tamasic person will be tamasic. Don't give him a job which urgently needs to be done. Or you have to keep reminding. Tamasic person, you have to keep on pushing. He needs outside influence to overcome his tamas. Fear, threat, etc. Rajasic person, you have to be careful. He is too hyperactive. So you have to calm down, relax, chill. Everything will happen on its own time. You have to be, and Rajasic person he will jump into activities where you can give him urgent work. Sattvic person, no problem. He can apply himself in any field. Now, something like Sattva is something like a 70%, sorry, it's not Sattvic, the four caste, Brahmin was 70% Sattva, 20 Rajas, 10 Tamas. Kshatriya he will have less. I just wrote it today morning only. "25 Sattva, predominantly Rajasic, Kshatriya. And Tamas is higher than Brahmins. So Kshatriya will have Tamas, will have Sattva, but predominantly is Rajasic. Vaishya were the business people. See, Satyas are protectors. Brahmins are the teaching class, the planning. The CEO has to be a Brahmin. They have a temperament where they can guide others. Teachers, even leaders of the society must be Sattvic. Kshatriya are the working type. They're the active people. So soldiers, sportsmen, they're the other person who can execute. Vaishya is the more the business class. 20 Sattva. Rajas and Tamas is almost equal. Shudra is just the opposite of Brahmin. It is 10 Sattva, 20 Rajas, 70 Tamas. So they are in ignorance. They don't know what to do. They don't want to do anything. So that's the quality. Now, a Shudra's child can be Brahmin. A Brahmin child can be Shudra. It is not based on birth. Generally, it will happen. The child has the similar nature as the parents. But it is not a rule. Prahlada was born in a Rakshasa family. He was highly Sattvic, devotee. And the Rakshasa means extremely tamasic and extremely rajasic. In the Satya Yuga, which was the golden age, predominantly people were Sattvic. They would not steal. They would all follow dharma. Today we are in Kali Yuga, where a minority is in Brahmin types. And it's a cycle. At one point, the Raja Rishis, the rulers of the kingdom, America, the president of America and president of India, all were self-realized people. It would be a totally different world. That was Satya Yuga. Then the business people took over. I don't know, capitalism and all that. Sorry, not Satya. Then the soldiers took over. Then the business people took over. Soon a time will come, that's in Kali Yuga, where the labor class will take over. People who have no ignorance, they don't want to do anything, but they will come into power because they become majority. But in that, we have to, we need not get influenced by what's happening. In fact, if you carefully understand, it's easier to do sadhana in Kali Yuga because there are more selfish people around. If you want to be a giver, if you want to be unselfish, do you want unselfish people or selfish people? If you want unselfish people, that means you want to take. So it's not that we have to quote negative people or dussang. We have to keep satsang, but you know exactly how to relate to this people who are selfish and egocentric. They have a weakness. They have a too much value for the world. So you understand. And if you are genuinely, if you feel, if you are too upset by their behavior, means we also have a value for what they are seeking. Will you get upset if you see children cheating in the Monopoly game? If you're really getting upset, means you are also a child wanting to win that Monopoly game, right? So it's okay. It's a mirror as to what's happening within us. Let them do what they have to do. If you have an obligation, execute an obligation. Otherwise, lead them to the divine will. There's a divine power that'll take care of you. Unnecessarily, you don't have to get into other people's life. So mental temperaments is there everywhere. It was a beautiful division of labor with absolutely no rigidity. As it was an experiment which failed, I don't know, maybe the rishis who said it, knew it will fail. I don't know really what went wrong, but it developed rigidity and it became based on birthright. So we need not, it is anyway naturally gets enforced. And in the sense, people who are thinking type, they want thinking type of job. Why would they want to run around? It's paradharmic. And if you put a Shudra, I mean, person who is very, very tamasic as the boss, what will happen to that company? He doesn't know how to run the company. Knowledge zero, feeling zero, action zero, or action is reckless and careless. That company will collapse. So better the labor class. And what is interesting is even in the four categories, okay, a Brahmin, if he follows his temperament, he can realize the self. Kshatriya follows his temperament, he realizes self. Vaishya can realize self. Even a Shudra can realize the self. So even in the four categories, there is a Shudra Shudra. Shudra Shudra means he is very lazy and he will not do anything. Tamasic, he doesn't know what to do, and even if you tell him something to do, he will not do it. Shudra Vaishya is a person, you give him money, he will do. On his own, he will not do anything. But you tell him something to do, he will do it if there is financial benefit involved. Vaishya, the business transaction. Shudra, Kshatriya are the union leaders. They are protector of the labor class. Shudra, Vaishya, you tell him something to do, he will do it beautiful. They don't know what to do on their own, but you tell them he is a good worker. They are good workers, no? So Shudra, Brahmin will realize the self if he continues in that category. Now, Vaishya, Shudra, lazy businessman, Vaishya, Shudra. Pakka businessman, Vaishya, Vaishya. They know how to make money. Vaishya, Kshatriya, they form these groups, YPO and whatever. They are the protector. All business people they get together and they protect themselves. Vaishya Brahmin, he is earning only to do charity. He is earning only to evolve and realize the self. So you can be a Vaishya and earn money for the right purpose. And he is doing it also with Karma Yoga. Brahmin, I mean, wherever there is Sattva, there is Karma Yoga. Kshatriya, Shudra, he is a security guard or is a soldier, but he is not ready. He is not prepared when the thief will come. His gun is not ready. Kshatriya, Vaishya, he is fighting only for money. Kshatriya is the real soldier that you keep as bodyguard. that they are the real, they are the protectors. They are real Kshatriya means they are aggressive and they are using the aggressive right purpose. Who is a Kshatriya Brahmin? It was so, when I heard it was so nice. They are ready to fight, but they are praying that fight doesn't happen. Their gun is ready, but they will pray that fight doesn't happen. Like Lord Rama. Even wedding picture, he has the bow and arrow. Can you believe you are going for a wedding with your AK-47? Never is Rama's picture without a bow and arrow. He's ready to fight. But he's praying there should not be any fight. And he fights when there is a Ravana. So that's a Kshatriya Brahmin. Brahmin Shudra. He's a teacher, but he's lazy. He has to guide, lazy CEO. He has the capacity to think, but he's lazy. Generally Sattva, but he's lazy. Kshatriya Vaishya, Brahmin Vaishya. He is teaching for money. He's in a lot of priests, they are very commercial. So they are doing something. The work is apparently sattvic, but money is the goal. Brahmin, Kshatriya, they again form groups in some way. They want to protect. There are people who say Sanatan Dharma has to be protected, whatever, that kind of Kshatriya means protector. So they will form groups for protection. Brahmin, he is only interested in moksha. He is not interested in anything else. So the top category in all the four castes, they will realize the self. It's not like Shudra has to become a Brahmin. Shudra has to evolve in his own way. So it's not about the caste system. Forget the caste system. Understand your temperament and choose work according to your temperament and do that work as unselfishly as possible. Divinize it. Bring in God into it. I'm doing it. I'm playing the role of a mother or father. As I said, whatever role you're playing, play it beautifully to realize the self. Get this thought of realizing self. Somebody asked how to apply the intellect. First of all, be aware there is the mind and the intellect. Mind is something which is flowing on its own. You don't need application. All the time is running around, seeking pleasure, worries of the past, anxiety of the future. It's a mechanical routine way of functioning. Now you shift gears to the intellect. It's almost like when you're using the intellect, the spine is straight. You're alert. You're not doing anything mechanically. You're applying yourself. What is my goal? How should I do it? Am I doing whatever I feel like doing, or am I doing what is right? Sometimes what you feel like doing and what is right, they align. I would say, I'm giving out my secret. 90% of the time, I look forward to the classes. Sometimes I feel, oh my God, another class is coming. But then, if the class, thank God, the class timing is set. Because the moment I chant the prayer, all the tamas and rajas, whatever, hopefully, all the tamas and rajas goes away. And you are in, whatever, you are into the class. But sometimes you don't feel like taking the class. But whether you feel like taking the class or not, you better take the class. So, intellect is applying yourself. It's not about likes and dislikes. It's not about what you feel like doing. It is about what is right, ought to be done. And don't do it with a ego or craving. Do it in the right way. Understand the person you are relating to. Is he a crazy guy? Is he a balanced guy? Is he irritating guy? So that's where you apply. How to apply the intellect? I can't demonstrate how to apply the intellect. You have to use that faculty. Intellect is your conscious, controlled thought force. You're in charge of yourself. The chariot metaphor. Five horses, reins is the mind. The intellect, Arjuna, Sri Krishna, the intellect is alert. So mind is behaving itself, body and senses are doing what it's supposed to do. You're in control. So keep studying the scriptures. That itself will activate the intellect. Be aware. See, if you don't have an intellect, you will be completely like a animal in a human body. Animal in human body is not protected. They will go down the drain. Animal in an animal body, they are beautifully actually disciplined. In fact, our goal is to become like an animal. When I say that, they are perfectly disciplined in the eating habits. They don't overeat on their own. They will not oversleep on their own. Everything, mating period, all the activities are perfectly disciplined. And they don't compare themselves with others. There is no ego. Naturally, whatever selfishness is there, they can't be sacrificial on their own. They can't be selfish on their own. They just live their life. They are born, they procreate. There's no attachment. The moment the child knows how to take care of itself, they don't care at all. The relationship goes. So we must become like an animal in a human body consciously, in the sense, just do what you're supposed to do. Be disciplined, no ego, no comparing with others, just doing what you ought to do. So that's how you apply your intellect. So it's about the intention behind the above categories that divide it further. Even Shudra can have Brahmin mindset and Brahmin can have, yeah. So the intention is to have an intelligent, see what happens is, a bright thinker, if he's all the time dealing with a group of people who have no culture and refinement and very, very ignorant, he might become more tamasic. So to protect the group, not to be unkind to the tamasic people. The sattvic people should have all the love and kindness for them. But to protect the sattva, they say whatever, marry in the same caste, and so it is a beautiful way of creating harmony. But unfortunately, because of the rampant ignorance, caste system itself is creating disharmony. So it doesn't matter. Understand the concept and follow it at your level. You're right. A Shudra can have a Brahmin. So Shudra has ignorance and is generally lazy, but he applies himself and follow the orders. He doesn't know on his own what to do. If he follows the order and does what he has to do beautifully, he can realize himself. Even he has to do Karma Yoga only. Do his work properly, without ego, and be unselfish. So a Shudra can be unselfish. But Shudra doesn't know what to do. And he has to be pushed to work. Right? So, but if he does it beautifully, he can realize himself. A Brahmin becoming a Shudra is not going to help him realize himself. He's a lazy Brahmin. You better get into, at least do something for money. That's it doesn't really fit well. It sounds very jarring. But suppose a teacher is teaching in school, he is doing it for his livelihood. The thought of service and sacrifice is not there. Nothing adharmic, but it's not going to help him realize moksha. Brahmin, Kshatriya, nothing negative. They form groups for protection. But Brahmin is, he is only interested in moksha. His activities are very, very sattvic. That's a true spiritual teacher, I would say. Right? Think about it. You can ask questions later. It is a very, very interesting topic. Try to, in fact, this is applicable to every class. Next day morning, write down the points, then only it will go inside. When you try to remember and write it down, it sinks in better. Something I saw in the chat. I don't know. Kabir, Parshuram. Kabir to seems very, very sattvic only. I don't know. Parshuram. I don't know. I have not thought about it. What they must be highly sattvic. That the fact that we are taking their names now, I don't know, but what category they will fall into. Sorry.
By
Hmm?
birth, he was.
Okay, by birth, they may have been in so-called low caste, but they were highly sattvic, so they were able to realize the self. So birth is no indication. It's not a rule that the family into you are born is determining your temperament. Like Prahalada was born in a Rakshasa family, so predominantly Rajasic and Tamasic, but he was highly sattvic. So sort of naturally you are similar. A cobbler's son is a cobbler, but it's not a rule. A cobbler's son can become a scientist. A scientist's son can be a stupid and good for nothing. It's possible. But it's not a rule. But yes, it could give an indication. So many times we see highly sattvic parents, but son or whatever, the child is Rajasic or Tamasic. Highly Rajasic and Tamasic business family, but the son wants to, take to the spiritual path. So they are very, very sattvic. Verse 25. We'll chant verse 25 and 26.
सक्ताः कर्मण्य विद्वांसः यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद् विद्वांस्तथा सक्तः चिकीर्षुर्लोकसङ्ग्रहम्.
O Bharata, as the ignorant, so from here the technique of right action starts. O Bharata, as the ignorant act attached to action, so should the wise one act unattached, wishing the welfare of the world. 26.
न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेत् अज्ञानां कर्मसङ्गिनां जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन्.
This is what I was referring in the beginning of the class. Let not the wise man unsettle the minds of the ignorant attached to action. Acting united with the self, let him render all actions attractive. So the second part of here is saying you be a leader. You make your actions spiritually attractive. We'll cover that in detail in the next class. You make yourself very attractive. Be as calm, cheerful, unselfish, kind in your expressions and do your duties beautifully. You don't have to worry about anything else. Automatically people will follow your way. But what happens in the beginning when we learn all these higher values, the mind suddenly gets very excited. It feels good. And before we want to live it, we want to tell others to live it. Why can't you be unselfish? Why can't you be sattvic? Why can't you do this? So he says, Arjuna must have been, okay, I have to change others. Change yourself. So even in these classes, we remind ourselves, when I am talking to all of you, I mean, if I'm genuinely true, I should be talking to myself and try and live this. A real master, he preaches what he's living. We are sincerely trying to live what we have learned from the teacher. So it's no point trying to change others. Each one will change according to their effort, according to their inspiration. You live the knowledge, don't worry about others. So here when others are not ready to change, rapport is not there. I said when the rapport is there, you can give intellectual reasoning and emotional appeal. Try both. If you're very clear, don't talk only in intellectual to reason and logic to an emotional person. Don't talk only emotion to an intellectual person. Speak the right language. Where you're not sure, try both. Give reason and logic and then emotional appeal. But then that's where the rapport is there. The other person wants to listen. Knowledge is always taken, never given. If I take the class, just in the next room, there are about, I don't know, 50, 60 people. They are not ready to listen. 10, 15, and when I have a class in this room, whoever comes, I'll speak. So knowledge is taken, never given. Unsettling the minds of others means they are not ready to, but you're forcing them. Hey, you know, Bhagavad Gita, so you have to be sattvic, you have to be unselfish, you have to be unegoistic. Let them be what they are. Then what do? You live the law. You live the right knowledge. You make your actions attractive. What is attractive action according to 25? There are two types of people: the ignorant, the foolish. They are also acting, but they are acting attached to action. How do you be unattached? Let's just stick to what he's saying. You are unattached to action when you wish for the welfare of others. Whatever you do, see, both are acting. The ignorant person attached is also acting from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. The wise person is also going to the office 9 a.m. to whatever, 8 p.m., 7 p.m., 9 p.m. But one is working without ego, without craving for the result, and he is genuinely wishing for the welfare of others. He is okay. I have a role to play. Let me play my role properly. He is not saying that, oh, if I don't come, what will happen? Swami used to go on saying, if you are not there, something better will happen. But that doesn't mean you have to go away. Since you are there, you play your role properly. When you have to go, leave it to the divine only. If you are there, play your role properly. But clearly, if you are asked to go somewhere else, you go there and play your role properly. Wherever you are, figure out what is your role and play your role to the best of your ability. Whatever is the role you're playing, mother, wife, husband, child, each one has a role. Play your role without attachment, wishing the welfare of the other person, wishing the welfare of your family, wishing the welfare of the community, wishing the welfare of one and all. That's why we chant the second prayer, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Genuinely wish for the welfare of others. And then it's not, see, it's just not practical that we go around serving everybody, right? But it doesn't cost you a cent to wish for the welfare of others. Ullas is here. Ullas always give the right answer. Start by wishing for the welfare of enemies. If you are able to wish for the welfare of enemies, you are sorted. There's nothing that, you're cruising on the spiritual path as it were. Genuinely, you wish for them. See, anyway, whatever has to happen to them will happen. If they are evil, they will face evil. But our duty is to wish for their welfare. Wherever you have an obligation, do it one-sidedly. Love one-sidedly means if it comes unasked, take it or ask minimum. Don't demand too much. When we don't do our duties and all the time, this is my right, this is my right, this is my right, and we all the time rights, whole life goes wrong. Somebody said it beautifully. Do your duty, wishing for the welfare. Duty is specific wherever you have a duty. And so ignorant, act with attachment. Be wise, act without attachment, wishing for the welfare of others. Make your life attractive. Automatically, you will change others. People who are not wanting to listen to you, be like a wind. Wind, where when the wind goes, there's an obstruction, it doesn't force its way. It just goes the other way. A saint is like that. Where he is not wanted, he will just go to people who want him, or he is quite on his own. When we have the knowledge, but we have not understood it, we want to change others before we change ourselves. It doesn't work. You preach a better sermon with your life than with your lips. I think Rumi said that. I'm not following it. No. I don't know what to do. This is my job. So that's why you have to be with the Guru. he will not only change you in the class, but he will change you with your life. Okay, satsang. Be with people who have better values. हो गया, बहुत हो गया. 5 minutes over time. Any questions? Okay, we'll end with the prayer. पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Thank you, everyone.
Hari Om. Thank you. Thank you, Vasubji.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Hari Om, sir.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hari Om.
Hari Om, everyone.
Hari Om.